Hello and welcome back to the Games Initiative podcast, episode 19, I believe we're at. And join us as always is the Red Dead Panda. Hello, Red Dead Panda.
And as always, Elite Gaming Guru, thank you for the lovely introduction. How are you this week? I'm good. I'm really good. Yeah, it's Sunday night for me.
Yeah, so it's Sunday morning for me. I don't know what the time is now, 10 o'clock? Actually, I'm sure what the time is in the morning. So
Probably like 23 past 10 in the morning for you. Because it's 9:24 p.m. my time.
Yeah, so around about that. Yeah, I've been feeling well recently, actually, for the past few weeks. But having a bit of a cold. It's been really dragging out, so I don't know what it is. I've been COVID tested, I don't know it's on that, so I don't know. But anyway,
it's okay. I think we're more than 2 meters apart, Elite.
Yeah, just about. And,
just a tad over.
But luckily, we've had games sort of keep you interested. So, and I've got me Xbox Series S's now. So,
well, how have you been finding those? We'll do a bit of an intro leading into this. Yeah.
So I've been enjoying them. Well, the size of it is incredible. It's tiny. I was like, wow. When I first opened it up, wow.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Can we just emphasize quiet?
Yeah, it's absolutely silent and it's absolutely tiny. And it's about the size of my Surface Pro screen. I've got a Surface Pro. It's about the same. It's actually smaller than the Surface Pro. But it's absolutely tiny. Loving it. And yeah, the speed, I like the, what do you call it? The thing where you can just jump straight into a game. What do you call it?
Oh, quick resume.
Quick resume, yeah, that's great. And
oh my god, that is a game changer, yep.
Yeah, and just now I can play one of those games I couldn't play before. So I'm downloading the mediums. I'm going to get into the medium. Been playing Microsoft Flight Sim and Ascent. I've been playing Ascent. What have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Well, I have some sad news, guys, for everyone out there listening. I am not able to play my Series X at the moment. I've been playing on my Series S. I was playing on my sister's Series X today. I'm playing the Ascent, loving it, and we're going to talk about the Ascent later.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my Series X has decided to turn on and then turn itself off. So I can't play any games at the moment. So I'm sending it away to Microsoft. They were so good about getting me a replacement controller, and that took less than a week to sort. So I am very impressed and can't wait to get a new unit.
That's a good thing now. I think Xbox, that's the customer quality they've got over Sony, that they will just refund you or just replace.
I notified them on, I think it was Friday or Thursday night or something, and then I got my slipping paper, and I've got a little box that's getting picked up tomorrow morning by a courier. And then I'm all done and dusted. I've got my Series S till then, so. But what have I've been playing? So I've been playing the Ascent and watching my sister play A Plague's Tale for the first time, and she's loving that. She's like, "Why did it take me so long to get into it?" I don't know. I was trying to tell you how good the game was, and you didn't believe me. No, she's have I played anything else? I feel like I've played things this week, and I just can't think what I've played.
Are you going to try Flight Simulator?
I am when I get my Series X.
Oh, you're not playing Slim? Seriously?
Well, it's just because I haven't yet bought the SSD for the Xbox yet.
Oh, right.
And I will be purchasing one because it's just I've only got my old mechanical hard drive as my external storage.
Yeah.
And taking that upstairs because it's 512 gigs sitting on my S upstairs. I've already got like I think 8 or 9 games sitting on it installed, so it won't fit Flight Sim. But and all those games I'm playing up there, so I'll wait for my Series X because of the 1 terabyte internal SSD, but I can't wait to purchase my Xbox SSD. Probably at the end of the year I'll purchase one of those.
Yeah.
When they're on a good special.
Yeah, and it's plug and play, isn't it? The Xbox SSD.
Oh, are we going straight onto that topic?
Well, let's lead. We'll come back to that. Let's get into our topics. Right, so our first topic is going to be Horizon Forbidden West delayed until 2022.
Your thoughts on that, Elite? I'll let you lead with this one.
Right, wow. So, I mean, there's been a lot of excuses. I think COVID's been overly used now with the excuses for Sony. Everything, like, last year it was COVID. That's why they pulled out of E3 and Gamescom because of COVID. That's why they there was other issues, COVID, and now they're sort of using sort of much the same excuses this year. Well, no one else is using those excuses anymore because let's be honest, sort of COVID's sort of more or less done now, but Sony is still using it's COVID. I'm afraid. Well, I'm just because they're putting out the E3, they've put out Gamescom, all their big first party games like God of War. I was going to say Gran Turismo 7, but it doesn't count as a game because it's a simulator. So, and Horizon Zero Dawn is now delayed to 2022. And I think, let's be honest here, it was just Sony lying, really, just to sell PlayStation 5, just to get the brand out there. I don't think they ever had the intention of releasing these games in 2021, to be honest. Especially God of War, because we've not even seen any gameplay from that yet. I don't reckon that's going to come till 2023, to be honest. But that delay means they've got nothing now for the rest of this year, other than Deathloop, which is an Xbox first-party title.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what they're doing, and I don't think they care, to be honest. And sadly enough, all the PlayStation fans are saying, using the old adage, even though they jumped on Halo when it happened, if it's delayed, that's a good thing. Being delayed is a great thing. But I'm sorry, but they've shown you so much gameplay, they've really hyped this up, and they've delayed it again. With no real excuse of why they're delaying it.
If we compare the Halo delay with the Horizon Forbidden West delay, and I've got a lot of things to say about this, guys, so don't crucify me yet. As to why I'm going to say... it's not really crucifixion, but Halo, the way it looked when it showed last year at E3...
Yeah.
It was rightfully delayed, to be honest. It needed to be delayed. The marketing up on that game up until that point had really shown something that the gameplay evidently did not, which was a engine that really took advantage of the power we were going to get from this next gen hardware. And you weren't seeing that at all in the gameplay. You were seeing the smoothness and the mechanics of the gameplay, yes, but aesthetically you weren't getting what they had sold you up until that point with the marketing. And people called it out rightfully, and it really did need an extra year of polish, extra year and a half of polish essentially. And we're looking at what's just happened now is the Halo beta's just come out for multiplayer, and people are loving that, and it looks really good. Yeah. And we're going to talk a little bit more probably about that shortly. But we look at the gameplay release, the State of Play episode, which was just about Horizon Forbidden West, and I don't understand why that's being delayed.
If not good reason.
Comparatively, visually speaking, Halo versus Horizon Forbidden West, on the way they showed, Horizon Forbidden West showed in a better state than Halo did.
Yeah, they showed 15 minutes of campaign gameplay as well.
Yeah, both had a little bit of poppin'. One had more poppin' than the other. Obviously, Halo had more poppin' than the other. But yeah, it concerned me. There were some things that I was like, obviously it's a later build. Obviously, that's not the current build for certain things that were showing up in the game. But I just couldn't understand, and I still think at this point, Elite, COVID is still a valid reason because we don't know. In certain countries, they're a lot worse off based on how they've responded to it. But if we look at any industry, the movie industry has been impacted by a whole year. And games take, I feel like, a lot longer to develop than movies. So understandably, I feel like we're still going to be getting maybe another 6 months-ish of COVID niggliness with delays for games. What's just been delayed? Kina's been delayed to September. Is it till September or till the end of the year now?
It just seems anything that's on PlayStation is getting delayed.
Yeah, I don't... See, the thing is...
literally every game has been delayed on PlayStation.
I feel like there's a reason behind that, and it's not the... It is COVID, and it's... part of it's COVID. It's not the developers. I don't blame the developers in this regard. I think it is the hardware. I think that the developers thought that the console would be in a different position and be what's the word? The hardware would be, I guess, better. More well-rounded by this point. Yeah, like features would be available and such. So I feel like they feel like the actual hardware is letting them down. That's why when you're hearing people the optimization and people having to delay PS5 versions is because I feel like it's the hardware, not the developers, that's causing the
I
delays
agree with you
because
on that.
they're
That's what I
running
reckon.
into
Yeah.
issues.
I don't
That's what
think,
I reckon.
that's why I don't think it is COVID. I think it is they're having issues with the PlayStation 5 because the games that have come out, the developers have said this is being held back because, like, remember the F1 when F1 came out, the PS5 version had to remove ray tracing because the game wasn't stable on the PS5.
Yeah.
Returnal, House Marquee said the issues with that was happening on Returnal was down to the PS5, not down to the game.
Yeah.
There was another game as well, which was the issues were pointed at the PS5 rather than the game, and we just get seeing more and more people coming out. And then we got obviously the SSD issues and things like that. I think it is a console issue. I think it's a console problem. And then we've also heard the rumours that they're going to bring out a new console which is going to be lighter, which is clearly they're not just making the console lighter. They're clearly going to rejig some things and redo some things. They would not spend the amount of money on merchandising and marketing and stuff just to make the console lighter. That's a ridiculous.
I reckon they might have redesigned your heatsink.
Yeah,
and
I reckon that's what it'd be.
I reckon it might have lightened it up a bit because they've actually come up with a smarter design for it.
Yeah.
Or the way they've done it. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like it's the hardware, and because of COVID, it's exacerbated it a bit more. So I still feel like, yes, COVID is a reason, but you and I both would agree that I feel like the hardware was not quite in a position, and it irks me that it wasn't quite in a position. Developers had more time with the hardware, and it was technically available longer. And PlayStation has been working on it longer than Xbox has been working on theirs. So one's more future-proof than the other. But what I guess when we look at what we've had in the past 18 months around games and game releases and game delays, because we don't know exactly what's going on, if this game really does need a delay, then delay it. It's not ideal, and this is what is annoying me. It's not ideal, and the people who are being impacted are the people who were the early adopters of the console, who were like, we are going to have amazing games in the first year, first year and a half, and that is why I've bought this console, because I know Sony is going to take care of us. And I feel like they're the ones getting left out of the cold. They're the ones being impacted the most by this, and I don't think it's fair on them. But I mean, if they have to wait to play a game because it needs to wait because they need to optimize it more, they need to get it running on the system better than it already is. We'll take proper advantage of it because there's something going on that's not just COVID related. There is something else going on, and it's got to be the system. That's my opinion, and I think if it is delayed, and it is being delayed, it needs to be.
I think
it's a positive, but I don't think it's going to be as positive as what we've seen between Halo's delay to this delay, because Halo clearly needed a delay, and like I said, I don't feel like aesthetically Horizon Forbidden West deserves a delay. I feel like it could be released at the end of the year, so something's holding it back, and that's why it's being delayed, and they don't want to own up to it.
I think it also could be possibly competition. I reckon they don't want to release it and compete with things like Halo Infinite, and then you've got your Call of Duties and all your big titles coming out at the end of this year. And in addition, I'm wondering if now they're looking at things like God of War, like I said, being delayed to 2023, not out next year. So if they're worried that next year they're going to have nothing. If they drop Horizon Zero Dawn this year, next year they will have nothing. So I think they're going to bite the bullet for this year and release it next year, just so they've got... Because I mean, the only other games I've talked about are director's cuts for next year. That's the only other games. And I'm sorry, and you couldn't have a year of just director's cuts. PS4, you can't. So I reckon that they partially delayed it to just fill the void where God of War and possibly Gran Turismo 7 will not be now. And I think they just might have Horizon Zero Dawn next year.
I think they're lining it up because, like you said, there's COD, and no one wants to go up against COD, but who should be playing COD now after what Activision's come to fruition or come to light? But you look at the fact that Forza Horizon 5, which is
Yeah.
huge. Forza Horizon is huge. Absolutely massive for a car game.
Yeah.
Huge. And that's releasing in November. And no doubt this will probably be releasing in Halo will release in November or early December.
Yeah.
And where to put Horizon Forbidden West? Where should they put that? Because there's other games releasing around that. I feel like they might feel like it's going to get smothered. And with the way Game Pass is running, it probably will be.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have Halo free-to-play multiplayer versus a $70 game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Xbox has been really smart this generation with basically changing the narrative and everything, and making gamers change their position on what they view as being consumer friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the next topic? It'd be a good choice.
We can. I just want to.
It'd be nice to see what people's put comments down below what their opinion on the whole thing is regarding delays.
Yeah, I just want to say I think it's shit that it's delayed, guys. But I think if it needs to be delayed, then good for it, and hopefully because of this delay, you get the PlayStation fans get a better experience out of the delay.
Yeah,
I just want them.
The point we're trying to make.
Evident.
Yeah, the point we're trying to make is that Halo had a reason to be delayed. Everyone see it. Everyone complained about it. We've seen no such evidence from Horizon Zero Dawn that it needed to be delayed.
Yep. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
So let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be the PlayStation SSD expansion slot, and it's finally in beta. Yeah, beta.
We were talking about the week before, before this announced, that this was a no-show, and I was really concerned about the cooling of the actual expansion slot because it didn't look to have any cooling. And then we get this announcement that the PlayStation SSD expansion is available via an update, and it's in beta. What do you wanna run with this one, Elite?
And did I read correctly that you may have to install your own heatsink?
Yes, you did, because basically you can purchase a M.2 SSD without a heatsink, or you can purchase one with a heatsink, and then you can purchase one with not only a heatsink on one side, but a heatsink on both sides. And if you want, you can also purchase a heatsink to go with the SSD that you purchased, because some of them don't come with heatsinks already.
So the main question there is...
and then you have to make sure that whichever one you buy, heatsink included, will fit in the expansion slot space available to you.
Yeah. Once you've unscrewed your console and taken it apart just to stick the SSD into it. Because it's not a plug and play, simple just plug and play. I mean, we're in 2021
Can you
now.
explain to me, Elite, what is the allure of being a console gamer? What do you find about being a console gamer is important to you?
Well, that's what defines the difference between a console and a PC. The whole point of a console is it's plug and play. You just lift it up, carry it around, play it, bosh. You should not have to open up your console for any reason. There should be no reason for that. The manufacturer, the company that own it should have already done everything they need to do if it's designed properly. And I'm sorry, but Mark Cerny and their fan base having hyped up the whole cooling system of the PS5 being one of the next gen features. I mean, it's meant to have liquid cooling. It's meant to have a giant heatsink. How on earth then, if it's not got any heating issues, do you need to install new heatsink, more extra heatsinks? I'm confused by the whole method here. Where is Mark Cerny? Where is he? We need to get him in chat and ask him to explain the issue here.
Let's comparatively look at the Microsoft.
No, you can't do that.
Option.
Remember that guy on Twitter got called out for doing that.
The Microsoft option versus the PlayStation option.
Yeah.
What? Who got called out? What have I missed?
On Twitter.
I called it out on Twitter.
Yeah. There's several people have done a video showing how to install the Xbox Series X SSD and then how to install the PS5 one. And the PS5 is obviously a lot longer and a lot winded. and then PS fanboys got upset by that. And then started turning it around saying that Xbox fans are just thick because they don't know how to take apart their console and install an SSD. They're completely missing the point that you shouldn't have to be doing that. And these are the same people that complain about batteries in a console, in a controller, but they're fine with like taking apart their console and installing the SSD. They're fine with that, but they don't like. They can't put batteries in.
You know, that's a controller, right? That's not the unit that you are using to play the games on. That is just a peripheral. So yeah, comparatively speaking, the ease of use between the two. Now, the Microsoft one is currently, proprietary. Oh my god, language today. Proprietary. I'll get there one day, guys. It is currently only available as by one supplier, but it is going to be made by a third party. It is slower, so understand the difference in price, guys, clearly. But it just seems ridiculous, I don't know. I understand the difference in price based on the difference in speeds. Yes, the Xbox version has also taken into consideration about heat dissipation, both on the internal one, which can be unsoldered from taken out off the motherboard if anything goes wrong, whereas the PlayStation 1 can't. That one's soldered directly onto the motherboard. So if your SSD dies, you're screwed. And then it dissipates evenly for both the expandable one that you can just plug into the back of your unit. You don't have to power off your console to put it in. You can remove it. You can take it up to another console and plug it in and remove it. Do you know how long it takes? Less than a second to put it in. Less than a second to take it out. Super easy, compact. You can take it anywhere with you. And then you look at the PlayStation 5 option. And yes, there are more options available, that is clearly obvious. However, PlayStation hasn't released the list that they said they were going to release of the ones that they had tested and confirmed would be okay to use. We are aware that's coming, but why would you not do this yourself? Obviously, they want more people testing it because it's in beta, which is concerning. I'm happy with games being in beta, but actual hardware and software like that doesn't seem right that it would be in beta being tested by you guys. Xbox's one was available day one, guys. There was an option day one. 8 months later, PlayStation has an option. It's not confirmed. They can't guarantee that the speeds, even if you get a speed that is higher or on par with the PS5, that it'll actually see the same performance. They can't guarantee that. They can't guarantee that there won't be a heating problem. They can't guarantee that it's gonna work properly. Basically, they're just saying if you put one of these SSDs in your unit, in your console, we have voided all responsibility if something goes wrong. Mind you, I guarantee you there will be heaps of these SSDs that do nothing and work perfectly fine. However, you should not be taking on the risk as a consumer and rolling the dice going, what happens if I'm that 1% that has an issue? And that is not your responsibility to take on that level of risk because you've already bought the console. Sony already said that they were going to take care of this for you and provide you a list of recommended units that you could safely use, yet they haven't done that. And for you guys to turn around and say that Xbox people are stupid because they can't figure out how to put a SSD in. SSDs have a screw in them, so clearly a screwdriver is required. I like to build and take apart PCs myself, so I don't know why you are assuming that the average Joe couldn't do it. Yes, the average Joe can do it. Watch a YouTube video. They shouldn't have to do it. The purpose of a console is the plug and play. I love computers. However, I don't have to go out and build one for myself and put it all together unless I really want to. Because for some people, PC gaming is where it's at. Taking your components out, updating your BIOS, all of that fun stuff. However, console's meant to do it all for you. The only thing I am happy about this update is the improvements to the UI for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about this. The SSD, cool. You should have. This shouldn't be in beta. This should not be in beta. Do you know what is in beta on Xbox's side? The xCloud, cloud gaming, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not impacting any of our devices doing the cloud streaming. There is no risk on us. Xbox has taken all of that risk on themselves by putting it on their servers, and they're the ones doing the updates. Yes, we're helping improve it by sending information back, but there is not a risk of damaging our console, or they're not voiding all responsibility if anything goes wrong, because it's not on us. There's no risk on us. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ranting here, but what are you can jump in any time.
Yeah, I think you've basically covered it. It's. I think it leads back to what we said a minute ago regarding Horizon Zero Dawn delays. I think there's fundamental issues with the PlayStation 5, and one of them clearly is this slot. It's like they had no forward thinking that they would ever need to use one or something, or have it, or are those hoping, I don't know, players would forget about it, they wouldn't have to install an external SSD. I'm not too sure, but it's like they made the console with the intention of sort of not having the thing in the first place, because it seems quite a problem to stick it in. It's just poor. The whole console is just poorly designed. Full stop.
Someone said that technically the PS5's SSD is easier to replace than the PS4's. Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know how easy it was to replace the Xboxes? I didn't have to. Yeah. Do you know why? I just plugged it in an expandable hard drive and I was done and dusted.
It's once again
didn't have to worry about it.
Terrible at making consoles. The PS4 is the same. Yeah, I remember the SSD on the hard drive on the PS4. Yeah, it's loads of issues, and they had to wait a long time to have theirs done, didn't they? To put in a internal.
I don't know.
They didn't have an internal drive.
Before they allowed that. Yes, there was a while. I think it's terrible at forward thinking and understanding where the market is going around what the consumers want.
Yeah.
I think they're slow to act, and I feel like if they were faster to act, they would be on top of the infrastructure, because it's the infrastructure that is clearly lacking. I mean, especially with their servers and such, with what PlayStation Now. I mean, it's improving all the time, but they're still way further behind than they should be. And like I mentioned, the console was ready earlier than the Xbox console. Yeah. It was already being made in full production before the Xbox One went into full production. Like, this was ready. Why was there a huge difference? And Xbox had already thought of all of this stuff and gone, okay, how do we make it as easy for a console gamer to expand their hard drive? Cool, we'll give them the ability to use their own external mechanical drives through USB plug-in, and we'll make a SSD available to them day one for anyone who wants it. Yes, it's going to be expensive, it's proprietary and such, but why wasn't that a thought in PlayStation's mind, going, how do we make it easier for the consumer, considering how shit it is for them to transfer saves in the first place? It feels like a lot of things have been an afterthought for them, and they've seen what Xbox is doing now, and they have really realised they're behind the mark.
Yeah, and I think that's what's terrible about Mark Cerny. I think that that whole thing he did that time, that it's just basically him patting himself in the back. And I think just misleading about the console, because it's just nothing near to how he bigged it up and described it and how fantastic it would be. And a lot of his followers, a lot of this Sony cult, and follow suit and say it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and it's amazing, he's a genius. And now, 10 months on, and look at it, it's issue after issue with it, and problems I've probably got.
Yeah. Well, I love that
we've still not got any. They've still not announced even any first-party next-gen games for the console. Everything's now going to PS4.
Yeah, I think it's funny. When we look at the SSD talk, though, the price conversation. Yeah, I get the speed difference, so it's a little bit concerning that Xbox is quite as expensive in relation to the difference in speed. However, it is proprietary, so we understand why there's a difference in cost around that. But if you actually did any of your research around SSDs prior to this, you would have realised that SSDs are expensive regardless of where you purchase them.
Yeah.
and regardless of what type you get.
Yeah.
To get the speed that you need for the PS5, you're putting on more. Like, you're paying more for that. And people were giving Xbox such a hard time around the price of the SSD, and then I guarantee you some of them were left a bit gobsmacked at the prices for the PS5. People were thinking that, I guess, SSDs would come down in price by now. They're not going to, and I don't feel like they will for a little while yet. I feel like 2023 is probably when we're really going to start to see SSDs dropping. But
once again, all the people that called out Xbox's SSD about being overpriced, they've said nothing about the issues with the PlayStation 5 SSDs, as always. It's just gone silent. So
what? 8 and WD have both announced their compatible ones that they are saying you should be fine to use with the system. Again, should, not you will be, and that is the biggest factor around this. Is it's not designed for console friendly gamers.
No.
All you've ever had to do since consoles have existed is plug in a memory card. That was also just plug and play. Yeah. You've had to plug in your power, maybe plug in a controller when they were wired in, and put in a game and press power and turn it on, and the game's ready to go. That's all it is. That's all it has been.
There should never be a reason to open up your console.
There shouldn't be.
And
like,
Sony keep
no
just repeating.
Reason.
Yeah. Right, should we move on to the next topic?
Yes, we should.
Right. The Ascent is released, and you've got an MC score. What's MC score?
Metacritic, sorry.
Oh, Metacritic. Oh, right, yeah. Should. So the Ascent was released, and the Metacritic score. Yes. So just to sort of confirm what it is, it's 74. The Metacritic
currently.
Currently
just checked before the show.
74 on PC and 65 on the Xbox Series X. Now, I've been saying for years, for a long time, about 10 years, that Metacritic's a broken system and it's got so many flaws, and I can go through all the issues it has with the whole system anyway. But I mean, this when games are usually multi-platform like this, people said, "Oh, it's because it's driven out of views." When games are generally multi-platform, there possibly are sometimes differentiations in the scores, but they're usually only 2 or 3%. But this is almost 10%, and this is because if you look at the scores, the Xbox version's clearly been review bombed by pro Sony channels that have given it 3s out of 10 on the Xbox, but not giving that score on the PC version. Even though, for what people say, and PC gamers are reporting it, the PC version is having issues. Is having several issues, which the Xbox version's not. But yeah, the PC version's hit 74, and the Xbox, I mean, it's a 3 out of 10. Did you read the review on it? They said it's repetitive. This is,
So was Diablo.
Yeah.
So was any game. Any game that has any type of... it's repetitive because you're shooting a gun, and when you shoot a gun, it doesn't change. You're still shooting a gun at the end of the day.
Yeah. These are the same people that scored Returnal for a 9 out of 10. Or Ratchet & Clank a 9 out of 10. Because those games are not repetitive. Is Ratchet & Clank not repetitive in the slightest? You're not running around just shooting things. Or Returnal, you're just running around shooting things for the entire game. Is that not repetitive? But this game is repetitive. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think you're right about the difference around the scores, usually around PC and console. There is a very minor difference, and part of that comes down to the fact that PCs usually have the extra bling in them, so that's why they generally get the better marks. They look prettier, they will play better depending on the optimization, and they usually run at a higher frame rate.
Yeah.
Like, that's usually why you're going to get a slightly higher score over PC versus a console. But 9 to 10 points different on it, that's hugely dramatically different and concerning. Exactly. But I'll let you continue, Elite.
And when I was having a debate with Supernova, because he's an idiot, Supernova and Red Dragon, because they said, this is where they completely sort of just expose themselves. I don't know if you read the debate. The Red Dragon started off by saying Ascent and put the 64 score, more Game Pass, 60 rated Game Pass fodder. So I said it's 75 at the time it was. I think 75 on PC. They said, yeah, but that's PC. And I went, yeah, and it's on Game Pass on PC. So
Yep.
it's how can it be 60 rated Game Pass fodder if your argument is everything that goes into Game Pass is 60 rated. This game's 75 rated for PC and is on Game Pass. So, you know, I'm not sure of seeing your point. And then he Supernova tried to sort of go around it and say other shit, and I'm talking nonsense. I just kept calling him out and he's rubbish as always. But yeah, well, the game is on Game Pass and it's rated 74. So is it still nonsense? This is exactly what I don't get. So I was trying to explain it to them. It's exactly the same game as on the PC. Exactly the same game. So how can one rate 74 and one rate 65? How can there be that much of a difference? Except the PC version didn't get review bombed with 3 out of 10s by pro Sony journals, which is ridiculous. Because I was making sort of the same point on Microsoft Flight Simulator, which got a 92. Now you had all the top sites like IGN and that didn't review it. None of the or Metro didn't review that. None of them reviewing that. Now, I don't know if you see, but I wrote to Twitter. Message
They've reviewed
to
it
IGN.
yet?
Yeah, why are you not reviewing this game? Because they had 6 of their sites review Ratchet and Clank 9 out of 10. All of them gave the same score.
What?
All of them gave 9 out of 10. 6 of them, yeah. They had IGN. Then they had IGN France, IGN Italy, IGN. They had just loads of different IGN sites from all around the world. All rate Ratchet and Clank the exact same score, 9 out of 10. Not one of them reviewed Microsoft Flight Sim. Why is that? Because I said at the end of the day, they did not want to pull that score up above Demon's Souls, which is they did not want Xbox Series X to have a lead in Metacritic above PlayStation 5's games. So it's just stuck at 92 along with Demon's Souls. And you'll probably find the same with Italia, yeah. So you'll probably find the same with Forza Horizon when it comes out. If it scores high, you watch review sites like IGN all hold back and not. But then if a game's not looking that good, you watch them all suddenly come out and start just review bombing it and putting it down lower. That's what they do. If a game looks good, they won't review it. If it's bad, then they will review it and make sure they pull that score right down as far as they can. And that's exactly what they do.
There's only one IGN reviewer on this game.
Yeah, why is that? Why is not IGN? And that's an Italian one, is it?
Yeah, that's the Italian one.
Why is But Ratchet and Clank,
and it shows that there are pending ones, but no pending IGN other than the one that's been reviewed. That is concerning.
But now, if you go to Microsoft Flight Sim and you look at pending, Metro's got a pending review on there, but they didn't clear that through because it was a positive review, so they didn't let it through. Why not? But then it gives a negative review for Ascent, and you let that through. The same. I think it was who was it done a video on it before about how Metro literally picks and chooses what reviews go through and what don't. Because some they put. I mean, why is there pending reviews anyway? Why don't they just let them all go through? I just find that weird.
Pending ones are ones that aren't completed, like Eurogamer, the guys who do the Digital Foundry one, Eurogamer.
Yeah.
That place, they're still, theirs is a review in progress. So yeah, some of them are reviews in progress. But sometimes you'll have people do reviews in progress and they get like put out, and then they'll update them later on. Who knows?
What's your take on it?
To be honest, I really don't care about a Metacritic score. I don't look at Metacritic. I'll look at some reviews to begin with, just to kind of go, is this in line with what I thought? But if I want to play a game, I want to play a game. Like, I wanted to play this game because I've been wanting to play sort of a top-down game other than Diablo 3 for a little while, and there was Diablo 2 coming out, and I was like, I'll play this in the interim. Still debating on whether or not I play Diablo 2, guys. How sad is that? After Activision stuff. That's the sad truth of it. But I wanted to play this game and wanted to give it a go. And my sister was quite surprised. She's like, I didn't really think you would want to play this. I'm like, it's on Game Pass. Why wouldn't I? And it looked quite cool in the Cyberpunk world because we didn't really have Cyberpunk this year. I mean, it released.
Yeah. But
it wasn't. It was not really in a state to really enjoy. I haven't even finished the game yet because I'm waiting for the next gen versions to patches to come out properly for optimization. So I've held off finishing off that game just for that. So I'm getting my cyberpunk fill at the moment. I I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. I'm like 3-4 hours into the game, level 5, and I can definitely see where some people are coming from, where it's not for them. It's not for everyone.
Well, it's because it's Diablo style, sure, isn't it? A dungeon runner,
It's
isn't
a
it? Really?
yeah, it's a twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
It's my first stick shooter that I've actually enjoyed playing and stuck it out to actually get comfortable with the twin stickness of it. You do die, not a lot, but you do die.
It is hard. Yeah.
It is hard, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I understand that some people might not get into it or get through the first level just because they're finding it hard.
Yeah.
But the difference in Metacritic score is shocking. The difference.
The 3 out of 10 is just ridiculous. That's clearly bombed. 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I wouldn't give this game 3 out of 10. I'm really like.
You must really hate the game to give it a 3 out of 10. That must be the worst.
I'm really struggling.
Played. I'd love to go back to see what they scored Bugsnax. I bet they didn't get that 3 out of 10.
Probably not. I'm really struggling to. I really struggled to come to this podcast tonight to leave the game to stop playing it. Because I can't play it downstairs while doing the podcast because my console is boxed away, ready to go, get taken off to get repaired or get replaced. It's gonna get replaced, guys. And then, so it's upstairs, and my sister's watching something on the Xbox upstairs. So I'm like, oh, I want to play this game. Like, I really want to play this game. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I think Elite, you and I should play co-op at some point.
Yeah, I think co-op would be amazing. The graphics in this is what's really blown my mind. The graphics are incredible.
Yeah, it's quite a. I feel like it's a very lived-in game. Like, it feels like there's so much in it, like so much in it. All the NPCs, the graphical nuances and details in there, and like when you're shooting certain structures that you would hide behind for cover, they like slowly break apart, and like the particle effects, and yeah, the game for what it is quite impressive, and for the size of the studio that delivered on this. And you say they did have help from other developers outside for technical support, because they said they tried some things on this on the system and it didn't quite work out, so they left it as is. Yeah, it's really good.
Just for the record, Metro scored Bugsnax 6 out of 10. But he scored this game a 3 out of 10. I think Bugsnax is twice as good as this game. Basically. Ridiculous.
Can you put that on Twitter, please?
Yeah, ridiculous.
just chuck that up. That is ridiculous.
Actually, looking at Bugsnax, the amount of IGN... See, this is what I mean. This is why you know IGN's biased. The amount of IGN sites that scored it 7 and 8 out of 10s, Bugsnax.
I think if you really want to look at
Bugsnax
it,
8 out of 10.
if you really want to look at the bias of Metacritic, go have a look at the last few years of PlayStation reviewed games on Metacritic.
Yeah.
Look how many reviewers review that. Yeah. And then go have a look at Xbox reviews and look how many reviewers.
That's what I've said. That's why I said the system's broken. If to make it to be a fair review, both sides have to have the same amount of reviews. You can't have one getting 20 and the other one getting 110. It's ridiculous, because that just pulls the score up. Because especially if you look just now, I looked at Bugsnax. Let's quick look at Bugsnax, for example. You've got the first 10 reviews are PlayStation sites, DarkStation, PSU, PlayStation Country, PlayStation Official Magazine, PlayStation Lifestyle, IGN, and GameSpot, we know they're pro, PSX Sense, a ton of IGN Spain, IGN Italia, all scoring and going 9 out of 10. Bugsnax 9 out of 10, all scoring and putting that score up. And this is my point, that Xbox doesn't have close to near that many pro Xbox channels. And actually, if you look at Ascent, Xbox Central, I think scored Ascent 6 out of 10. So they don't score their games 9 and 10s out of 10s, unlike the PlayStation sites. They're actually fair. They actually review their games properly. So it's ridiculous. And it's not fair on, and I said in the chat, it's unfair when you get on new developers. You're getting brand new developers, small teams making new IPs, and then as part of the console war, these sites destroy their games. It's Metacritic scoring just for the sake of a console war. And the PlayStation fans talk about developers and supporting developers, but then they're quite happy for that kind of thing to happen. They're quite happy for the console war to kill off developers and ruin the gaming and stuff. And
well, I think it's really. I think what's going for the Ascent is the fact that it is available on Game Pass.
Yeah.
There are over 20 million subscribers for Game Pass.
Yeah.
For this
Can you imagine
game.
it wasn't? Nobody would have bought that game based on Metacritic. That's what thing is. That's why I caught him out as well. He was that Supernova, what a twat. He was trying to say that their point was you shouldn't accept rubbish games on Game Pass. He's trying to say every game on there should be an excellent experience. I said, well, how do you define that then? And he repeated all the games should be good. I said, but how do you know the games are going to be good until a Metacritic score comes out? I said, are you trying to say that they shouldn't put games on Game Pass until a Metacritic score comes out for it? And then you're basing games that are good on a Metacritic score? I said, that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. So he said, well, you should take out with Xbox. If there's a game not good enough, you should bring it out with Xbox. And I said, do you bring it out with Sony whenever there's a bad game on PlayStation, do you bring it out with Sony? And he said, I'll write a bad review on my channel about it. I said, but do you bring it out with Sony? And he would answer me.
Yeah.
Because it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Absolute biased nonsense.
Yeah. I think there's also a factor that this isn't available on PlayStation right now.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was a game that had released on all three platforms, essentially PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, then we'd be looking at a different story. There is a bit of a learning.
When it does release, when it does release on PlayStation, if it scores higher than 65 on PlayStation,
it probably will. Yeah. What was I saying? I can't even remember what I was saying.
Sorry. I wonder if Metacritic. I wonder if Metro would give it a 3 out of 10 on PlayStation.
Probably not. Probably not. There is a learning curve with this game. And I guess that's probably the biggest thing about it is there is a learning curve, and if you've never played a twin stick shooter, you're going to be running into something. But I was giving some tips to Elite at the beginning before we jumped on here on the podcast. Just what I've learnt, just kind of playing and like dying and learning from my mistakes in this game. Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Do you know what it actually reminds me of? The Ascent. This style of the Ascent. I got like the original Fallout vibes from.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you know how you run around the map and you'd find you'd run into like a rat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt like. It felt a bit like that. The way you're playing top down and the way the world looks, and obviously not quite the way the world looks, but it just kind of gave me those sort of vibes. And I haven't been excited for like a game where I can just kind of jump in and shoot the hell out of things, and like just feels like a drop in drop out type game where I can just kind of not take myself too seriously, but also have a lot of concentration because I don't want to die. And but it saves rather frequently, so you're not too worried about like running into issues like Returnal. No. Where you lose all your stuff and you have to come back for it. It's pretty good on saving itself. So I don't get why it got the score it got. I would have at least given this maybe a 78 or 82, somewhere within that. I feel like this is where that game probably.
Yeah, the graphics are phenomenal. The graphics,
they are.
For a small indie team, the graphics look spot on, really sharp and nice and tidy.
Yep.
There used to be a lot of games in the past like this. There used to be, because I'm an older boy. People might remember things like Chaos Engine. So it's a lot like Chaos Engine, or games like Alien Syndrome and stuff like that. So it plays a sort of like them style of games. So so it's great. That's what I said. I said Supernova an idiot when he said, you should be asking for new experiences. I said, I'm sorry, how many this style of games have you got on PlayStation 5 exactly? You know what I mean? I think PlayStation fans should be asking for new experience, not over-the-shoulder action adventures. But
we don't need to ask for anything from Xbox anymore because there's so much coming. We're telling them to slow down.
Yeah.
My backlog is already huge enough as it is. I don't have time
Yeah.
to play a game after game after game. I can't keep up with it. How am I meant to have a social life with my friends, go to work, play video games, and manage to sleep in that time? Like,
In the
there's
past
just
two
not enough time
weeks,
in the world for gaming.
we had Microsoft Flight Sim, Death's Door, and this release, and we've still got loads to
Yep.
come out. We've still got that 12 minutes. We've still got Horizon 5, Forza Horizon 5
Yep.
coming out. We've still Halo Infinite. We've still got a ton of games still to drop.
not
Crossfire's
even
going
all
to be
the games
confirmed this year.
guys.
Yeah, there's Crossfires. There's so many games. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Right, should we move on to
Got two kind of quick-ish discussions to go about. Halo just had their multiplayer beta.
yeah.
Alpha? Beta?
I didn't
Beta.
get into it.
I don't even know what it
ask to
is
get into it,
anymore.
to be honest.
I didn't ask to get into it. I prefer story, guys.
I like the
One
multiplayer,
of
but
those
I'd rather
people.
just wait and see the final product. I don't really like sort of playing beta so much of games.
But it is getting, like, from the talk and what everyone's posting online, it sounds like it's a really, really good game.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, everyone's saying it's brilliant, especially the bots. They're saying the AR on them is incredible, and they seem to be learning. They said
Yep.
they're the hardest bots they've ever played in any game. And what's hilarious, which people are posting, is the bots, once they kill you, they teabag you as well. But
Wow.
I know. But yeah,
It's got to make them as realistic as possible. You can't kill someone in Halo without teabagging them.
No, and then that's what made teabagging, wasn't it? Halo brought teabagging to life. And then yeah, one guy was saying he's getting drop shotted and 360 scoped by the bots as well, which is absolutely madness. You know what the 360 scope is? You know, the thing where you jump in the air, you spin around, and they
360 no scope?
They no scope, yeah, it being no scope by bots. It's actually madness.
Yeah, well, what's the point of testing this out and seeing what you can break if the bots are just there as cannon fodder?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not the point. That's not the point. I mean, the game looks beautiful. It's playing beautiful. People are enjoying it. People only have positive things to say. They're stress testing the servers. They're stress testing all of it. And I think from what we're hearing, it sounds like it's going to be really good. And I can't wait to play this game. Not the multiplayer, guys. I know, unless something changes in my ability to actually be good at multiplayer shooting games. I'm quite good at PvE. But PvP, not really my scene. But yeah, I mean, I guess the other news about Halo is the fact that, and I've avoided all spoilers, is that apparently the story's been leaked online.
Sony fans are trying to leak the story everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, and what's happening on Twitter at the moment is there are just some absolute despicable human beings who are basically just posting the spoilers and tagging people who are Halo fans in it, or just if they're following you and you're following them or whatever it is, they're direct messaging you the spoilers. Like, people are blocking people galore or just muting the word Xbox, like, or Halo Infinite just off their feeds so they don't accidentally run into a spoiler. Like, how is this fair? Did everyone enjoy what happened with The Last of Us Part 2? Yes, the story was not ideal because it completely pissed everyone off when...
But that's the difference though, isn't
spoiler
it?
alert. With the golf club, spoiler alert. There isn't... But, like...
But it was the dev that leaked that. It was the disgruntled developers that leaked the Last of Us 2. Not Xbox players.
It was data miners that released.
But they seem to be complaining, moaning, saying it was Xbox players. It wasn't. It was disgruntled developers that were hating on Neil Druckmann at the time.
What's pissing me off is, like, who cares if the story gets leaked? People are still going to play it anyway.
Yeah.
People still played The Last of Us Part 2 regardless of the story being leaked. You don't have to be a dick and go out of your way to spoil someone else's enjoyment of the game. If they don't want to know what those spoilers are, they don't have to know. If they want to know, they can go out and research it themselves. Someone tried tagging me in. Oh, they tagged my name in on a post. I read the first line of it and immediately blocked it. Didn't see the rest of it because I realized that it was Halo spoilers, and I'm like, I'm not here for that. If I'm going to enjoy the game spoiler free, because that is how I enjoy every game spoiler-free.
Yeah.
That's how everyone enjoys every game. Don't be twats and take everyone else's enjoyment away from them. Just because it's on a platform that you don't happen to like, you don't have to act like a little child, throw your toys out of your cot and have a tantrum and go, I feel like we've had all this bad news from on PlayStation side. You guys have been hitting us up about the SSD non-stop because you don't understand that everyone should know how to easily change an SSD or put an SSD into their system. They shouldn't have to. That's the point. But you don't have to go and be dicks and try and spoil someone else's enjoyment of a game just because you're feeling a bit shit on this week because it hasn't been PlayStation positive news all week.
You haven't got the bottle to go up to Sony and tell Sony they're doing wrong. You just keep venting at Xbox for some reason. It's weird. Yep. That's what's weird.
Stop redirecting your anger and then stop going after innocent gamers.
Yeah.
All that's happening right now is people are pointing out the ridiculous double standard between how PlayStation's SSD gets handled by a fan base versus another one, because you guys skewered Xbox. Now you can't handle the fact that Xbox people have looked at it and said, this isn't very consumer friendly, and have pointed out the problems and the differences between the two. And you're just trying to change the narrative. People are enjoying Halo's multiplayer and you're changing the narrative, guys. Don't change the narrative. Stop. That's all you've done this every time, is change the narrative. It's time to stop. We're in control of our narrative. And as a gamer, I want to enjoy my game spoiler-free.
Yeah. Right, I think we'll end it there then, shall we?
Did you want to talk about the next spoiler, though? Not spoiler-free, but that post I put in about the possible Xbox Stream Box?
Oh, right, go on, lead on that then, yeah. Okay, go on then.
Yeah, so there was a post with a render running around on Twitter about the Xbox Stream Box coming. It's meant to be slightly bigger than a deck of cards. It's going to have the IR blaster where the sync button is. You're going to have your USB. You're going to have your Ethernet port, your HDMI, your it looks like a USB-C port as well, I guess, for charging and such, and your Xbox button. It's a small little white box, and it's meant to be the Stream Box that we heard them talking about. I can't remember its project name. Brad Sams will definitely know what the project name is for this. But this was rumoured to be coming, was it last year rumoured? I think it was last year it was rumoured. Yeah. And the idea is for anyone who wants to play Xbox, who doesn't want to spend that much money on a console, pick up a Stream Box. If you don't have a smart TV, use this. Your TV becomes smart after that. If you have a smart TV, and you end up getting the Xbox app through the TV, depending on the type of TV you have, you won't need use for a Stream Box, but there are instances where you may need one. Yeah. And this is going to make it really portable for everyone who wants to come into gaming, doesn't want to be tied down on hauling around this massive unit.
Yeah, this is perfect for people.
Game Pass.
Yeah, this is perfect for people that want to just travel. Like I do, go to hotels and stuff and do bits like that. And then my son as well. My son sort of stays over his girlfriend's quite a lot, and at the moment he takes his Xbox with him. He can just take the Stream Box now, and just throw it in his pocket. Yeah.
I think this is ideal for countries where xCloud isn't currently yet available, in the sense of it's currently not available yet here. I can do streaming to my consoles and stuff. I can stream my console from another room in my house to my phone if I wanted, but I can't stream via the xCloud app at this point yet. It's not currently yet available. However, if you're in a country where it's not available and you purchase a Stream Box, bam, done, dusted. You have immediate access to gaming on the fly, because all you need is a Ethernet port plug-in to the back of the system and you're sussed.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, I'll probably pick one up. Most definitely.
Yep.
And it looks kind of like the power supply you get with the Surface Pro. You can get a big power supply which has all like USB ports and all sorts of things like that, little handy things in it. It looks kind of like that. Right, so we're done there, are we? We finished?
I think we're done for the week.
We're at that kind of an hour. That went quite quick, didn't it?
I feel like it went quite quick.
Yeah, through that.
Yeah, we did. It's been just under an hour, I think. Today. Yeah. Oh, we haven't seen anyone where we can find you, Elite. Where can we find you?
You can find me here and on Twitter. I can't remember my handle on Twitter. I am on Twitter. Look under Games Initiative Podcast. That's what my name is on Twitter. But
just find me and find a post.
Yeah, that's it. You find us. Yeah, I need to get a logo on there as well, so it'll be easier to find. At the moment, I'm sort of.
Yeah. Do you know what I've misplaced? And this is why I haven't been doing a lot of my graphic design stuff. I've misplaced my pen for my laptop because I have a touchscreen laptop and I do all my design on my laptop.
Yeah.
I've misplaced it. I need to find it so I can continue doing some of my work on it. Makes my life easier. But yeah,
they're expensive, those pens, aren't they? What do they call them?
They are expensive. Yeah.
Well, we'll call it out then. All right, we'll finish there then.
We're done.
Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.
Bye, guys.